Today, I have a video, and it's a blessing for Marc Brashear. And this blessing is in the form of praises and thanksgiving. So that's good news, something to look forward to. They're both good news, whatever form the blessing takes. But just to calm anyone's nerves in case they're nervous, it's in the form of praises and thanksgiving for Marc Brashear. So first off, and I've already written him letters regarding this, but I'll say it publicly. With added experiences comes added perspective. I'm not saying that you don't have issues that you need to deal with, but let's just say that your issues, from what I've experienced, are more manageable for me personally than the issues that I've experienced from other religious leaders around the block. So, from what I've seen, what I've experienced, what I've felt, what I've heard from me and you one-on-one, more manageable for me. Your issues are more manageable than the issues that I've experienced personally from 1, 2, 3 other religious leaders that I've been under their authority. So I'll say that. It might be different for different people. I'm not saying you might not have been worse for other people, but from my current perspective, that's where I stand. And when I was at Cornerstone, my gifts and talents were valued and respected and appreciated and highly sought after. In many instances, I was reimbursed, and in most instances, I was praised and given thanks. And some people might be like, Rebecca, that seems like an obvious. People should say thank you, or oh wow, this is nice. That might seem like a common response, but you would be surprised. Sometimes even that return is hard to get out of some people. They can't even say thank you. So with added perspective, looking back, that's where I stand. I thought of this conversation. This is when I made gospel tracts and I was selling them for my business, pretty much for at cost. And you looked over them and you provided good feedback. You helped me. You grew me, you cultivated me, you helped make my writings better. This is what you said. Love the tracts. I might be tempted to make the card slightly bigger, ease of reading. On the Way, Truth, and Life track, a couple of very minor things to consider if you think they're helpful. And it's like wording, This might be read better as something like blank. Second page, I'd be inclined to word it so nice. Next to the last page, probably repentance from sin rather than repentance of sin. Really good tracks. I like them. Thank you. If you want to, Will do. I'll take these to the elders. I hope they sell well, sister. Yeah. So it's all things considered. Some people might see a wording that they find different than the wording that they're used to, and they'll crucify you over different wording when it's the content isn't even an error. So after experiencing that, looking back, I'm dang, Marc was really, I took a lot of things for granted that I had from Marc in my time at Cornerstone. And I've written all this to him in letters, so this isn't anything new. I'm just saying it publicly again. Looking back over texts and how things used to be in the past. And if people want a tearjerker, I thought of this clip.
The weird thing is, now I'm exactly where I want to be. I got my dream job at Cornell, and I'm still just thinking about my old pals. Only now they're the ones I made here. I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've actually left them.
Those were the good old days. Um, the more I think about it, Mark, I'm like, I don't know why we're enemies. I think we're best friends. I could just see us hanging out, talking about Taylor Swift, drinking Diet Coke, um, getting coupons to go to Texas Roadhouse to get a free appetizer with Karen. Um, so past drama, I know like some people have made nepotism accusations, and when I consider it personally, I don't care. Even if you made that financial decision single-handedly, I think you made the right call. When I took up a collection for the Burchetts after our ski trip, um, the person that there's like nepotism accusations, one of the people uh, with nepotism accusations, um, that person made a financial contribution back to the Burchetts. So if it's the church's money that's used to pay them, well, like that money makes its way back into circulation. Um, so I think it's like a benefit that that person's on payroll for us, for the church. I think it's for the good of the church that that person gets paid. Regardless of what the job is, I think it's good that she has money because it makes it, she's using it to serve us. It makes its way back into circulation. That blessing comes back. Um, so I would say like if they're still on payroll, I would double it. Not like I have any authority over finances and decisions and stuff like that. And I know like at that time they had a limited income and they were still able to make contributions back to the Burchetts and back to like the people with the those finances. And it's like you compare that to other people that were on the trip. I won't say names, but there was a person on that trip that declined making a financial contribution back. They said that they were just going to sign the card. They didn't, because I had the card and then I had contributions for a gift card, and they only wanted to sign the card. And they were single with an estimated salary, I would say, of probably like 90K. I could probably get the exact number if I wanted to. What year was that? 2022? 2023? I don't know. Yeah, I could probably get the exact number if I wanted to. So they had an estimated salary, maybe 90K, maybe like 90 to maybe like 110 at the top. I don't know. But also in about 2 months, they would have been getting a bonus of about 10% of their salary. So they were like financially well off. And they declined making a financial contribution. And I know that they greatly benefited from the Burchetts' labor and sacrifice because at the airport on the way back, he told Mr. Burchett how much he enjoyed the trip and stated that they should plan another trip with just the boys. And then he turned to Mrs. Burchett and asked her if she'd be willing to watch the kids solo while he and Mr. Burchett ran off on a weekend getaway to make snow angels. So I know that he greatly benefited from the Burchetts' labor and sacrifice that went into planning that vacation that he reaped the benefits of. So I don't know why he didn't want to return a financial contribution to them. It's giving. I love reaping the benefits off of the labors of others, yet I don't want to express my thanks by freely giving to them a small portion of the fruits of my labor. Yet I have no problem asking the physically weakest person, if they'd be willing to take upon additional physical burdens for my sake in order to fulfill more of my wants and my desires. without a return of blessings. So that's kind of interesting. Yep. Also, when I took up a collection for baby strollers for multiple families, this person declined, stating they were saving up for a house. And that was several years ago. Where's the house? It's giving entitled, privileged oppressor who is disconnected, blind, and oblivious from the reality of hardships others are experiencing. So he didn't want to contribute to the Pritchettes. He didn't want to contribute to the strollers. He's hoarding resources. He's not giving his share. So that's why I say, like, if Lauren... That's why I say, like, if they're able to make a return from, you know, their two mites, if they're willing to put that back into circulation with the congregation, and this person's not, well, I don't know, it says a lot. Give Lauren more money. Final comments. I'm not saying that you're not without fault, and in the future there may be more blessings of a different nature coming your way, coming down the hopper. But there are religious leaders out there wrestling with some deep-seated insecurities, causing them to act out irrationally and violently. They're completely ruled by their emotions. No thanks. It's not in my best interest to follow that type of leader. And I don't think I've experienced that from you personally, Mark. So, and I'm not saying you're like without fault, but I'd rather submit to you than submit to other people. I know I haven't been under your authority recently, so, and I haven't really had a good conversation with you, so I don't know where you're at today. But from past experience, it's wasn't as taxing as what I experienced from other people. And there are other men wrestling with a whole host of other issues. It's hard to discern. It's not real clear what those issues are exactly. So, yep, it's a tough job trying to keep these unruly, insubordinate sheep in line. You have your work cut out for you. Godspeed. Also, you have a member under your authority who is guilty of theft and acts of violence / murder against me personally. They're also obsessed with justice and precise fairness. Would you be willing to use your authority to schedule a meeting with myself and this person to settle accounts where he can pay his debt and make exact restitution to me? And that's the circle of isolation for this meeting, is this person and his debts towards me personally. Like, we're not going to talk about fringe stuff. I'm not going to bait and switch and talk about anything between you and me, Mark, or like this person and other people. It's just, that's the cone, that's the circle of isolation of the topics of discussion for that meeting, is this person and their debts towards me regarding theft and acts of violence / murder, and him making restitution and payment towards me. So if you're willing to use your authority to orchestrate that meeting, I can offer a trade. I got this, and my intention was to gift it to you. I was going to try to make commentary as best I could in it, but I can't. But I have other options. I have Hebrews that I have Gospel of John. This is what I'm leaning towards, because when you first preach through this, that's your sermon audio, like, heavy hitter. Also I've been reading, a lot through it because of my dad. And it's just really good. It's set apart. I think we know that. So I could offer as a trade, I could fill this in. Um or I have the Gospel of Matthew. Or I have Hebrews. I also have Luke and Acts, and there was one point in my life where I couldn't shut up about Luke and Acts, but now I'm at the point where you're not going to get me to talk about Luke and Acts. So that's kind of off the table. But I could do Matthew, John, or Hebrews. Or if there's another book you're interested, in the New Testament, mostly like Peter, James, and John is what I think I have the most insight towards. Old Testament wise, Jonah, or I don't know, maybe Deuteronomy, I don't know. But I'm kind of leaning right now, the vibe, like for you, I'm leaning more towards John, the Gospel of John. I think Matthew would also be good because he uses a lot of imagery, and I know you like biblical theology, and I like biblical theology. So that would be a good one too. Hebrews would, yeah. So, yeah. I mean, we can start with like one of them and make a trade for restitution with this person's sin towards me, and he can pay his debt. Um, and then if there's like another one you're interested in, well, I could think of another person in your congregation um, that has like, the coinage, and I could think of some debts that they have against me, and I could maybe work out a way for you to get more. Or we could hang out and talk about music. I think you're the only religious leader with intellect and wisdom that I'm actually like interested in, because my currency is wisdom, and your wisdom in music is something that sets you apart. So, um, yeah, that makes you valuable to me. Whereas other religious leaders, there's not much that I could, gain from them. But your wisdom and knowledge regarding music makes you valuable to me. So maybe we could trade. So that concludes my blessing to Marc Brashear. Um, I'm thankful. When I look back, like blessings and like cursings, if it was like a scale, I think most of my experience between me and you, Marc, is um, a blessing, maybe. Would lean more towards blessing. Like, I think if I laid out stickers on the podium, you would be thankful. I don't think you would like take them away and say, like, no, you can't hand out free stickers. You can't serve in this way and be really weird about it. And I think if I was like, hey, Marc, I see that you're like preaching through this book, this sermon, this series. Can I make stickers that coordinate with your preaching to, give to the church? I think you would love that idea, and you'd be like, yeah, just make sure you save your receipts so you could be reimbursed. Um, I don't think you would have like responded the way that other people have. I think for the most part we were a team. And I think there was some disconnect along the way where maybe was grouped in with other people, and you might view me as an enemy where I'm not. uh, yeah, so that concludes my blessing for Marc Brashear. Let me know about the church discipline meeting. It's funny, like songs like pop up into my head. It's like movie quotes or like song lyrics. But with this Matthew 18 situation, I think of this song, um, Make a Grown Man Cry. I don't know what the whole song is about. It's just that fragment that I think of with this Matthew 18 situation, and him making restitution for me for his transgressions against me. Gonna see a grown man cry. So if you'd like to witness that, Marc, And you're not that guy. It's not like you are the man. No, Mark, you're not this man. So if you would like to orchestrate that meeting and organize a trade for your labor and your use of authority for that, let me know. Okay, thanks.